everybody. I'm Stefan. I'm here at the Facebook Cube at Move the Dial, and I'm here with Patch, the CEO of GoodLife Fitness. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Of course. And we're here today to talk about inclusion, and one of the big questions right now is sustainability. That once and done is not enough. You run multiple businesses. I'm curious what your thoughts are on how to make these changes sustainable into the future.
Well, success breeds success.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was telling the story about how my grandmother was an author for 60 years. And she was picked as one of the top 100 most influential women in Milton, which is just outside of Toronto, right?
Amazing.
So she was the example to my mother. And when my dad died as a young kid, my mother raised 3 boys, and she was an example to me. Mm-hmm. So that's sustainability, right?
Yeah.
And so I have a bunch of different companies, but GoodLife Fitness, Fit for Less, CanFit Pro, and Oxygen Yoga and Fitness are all run by women.
Wow.
That's sustainability, right?
Yeah.
And when you take our executives, directors, vice presidents, and all that, because it's a big company, almost 15,000 staff, right?
Wow.
Dominated by women. So that's sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just they didn't get those jobs because they were women. They got those jobs because they were good.
Yeah.
You know, there are times when you will get pressure from different parts of society to say, well, get the traditional, right? And I just go, no, I'm getting the best, right? And, you know, more times than not, that is always a woman,
Yeah.
right? And, you know, I often think of it as the other guy's weakness, and not picking, I use guy on purpose, right? The other guy's weakness is my opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I think as we see more and more women get recognized, as you're seeing, like 50% or higher participation in law schools, business schools, stuff like that. Well, the curve is turning, right?
Yeah.
And so it's going to grow, and pretty soon it won't be, you know, a question of gender. It'll just be a human.
Yep.
And that's what we want.
Yeah.
Then sustainability won't be a thing. It'll just be, let's make the world better.
Yeah, and I love that story you told to your grandmother, to your mother, to you, to the people you mentor. Unfortunately, not everyone has that in their family. You know, how can people become better mentors and be that influence that you were so lucky to have as part of family that others might not?
They need to look at the obvious.
Okay.
What is happening? Like, more small businesses are run by women successfully, right? So let's look at the obvious. If I was a banker, I would look and say, okay, where's my money the safest? Mm-hmm. You know, where am I going to get the greatest? If I'm going to invest it, I would invest in a company that has more women, because odds are it's going to do better. Statistically, the odds are, right? Mm-hmm. And so as more and more people voice that, right? It's like a wave. It starts slowly, and it builds and it builds and it builds, right? We're part of the building, right? And so what you're doing right here, taking the time to do this, that makes a difference. So we just have to talk about it, you know? And then guys have to say to each other, smart, right? And more that's happening, right?
Yeah.
And then, like John Tory yesterday said exactly the same thing I said in the panel today. I'm not going to be a part of something that is exclusionary in any context, right?
Doesn't make sense.
No, it's just not smart, right? You know.
And so you founded these companies, you built them from scratch, and one of the key elements of any company scaling, especially to your size, is culture. And so what are some of the things that you've done to build the strong culture you have where you're blowing away the competition, and it seems to have some really good diversity when all these other companies are saying it's just impossible?
Well, there's 2 things.
Yeah.
Competitiveness and caring.
All right.
Okay? So when women right now have had to overachieve to cut it, do you think they're competitive?
At least a little bit.
They're really competitive, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so, but, you know, I don't buy the nature-nurture thing. I think guys can be as caring as women, but women have got it, and guys are afraid to show it because sometimes it's baggage that we've inherited, right? But as you can drop the baggage, you're more open to seeing not only the competitiveness, the success that can be driven, but caring and competitiveness together are the key. Mm-hmm. Just competitiveness for its own sake is silly, it's stupid, right?
Yeah.
But caring and competition together, it's like, what's the point in going to race if you're not racing against anybody, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to care about your competitor, right? And you got to care about the people you work with,
Yeah.
But your job is to make society better. Your job is to make your business better. Your job is to make your families better, right? It's all together.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Appreciate it.
And for anyone on the live stream, you can catch Patch talking about inclusion and leadership here at Move the Dial and in many other venues, I'm sure.
And thank you for taking the time to do this.
Of course. Always
Appreciate
happy.
it.
Thank you.